Now please, now we have already started discussion. Minister has already moved and spoken. Therefore, Sri Rahman Khan to speak.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir, for giving me the opportunity to speak on the Company Amendment Bill 2014. Sir, this House and the other House passed the Company Amendment Act 2013 after an exercise of more than a decade. The Companies Act 1956 was replaced by the Companies Act 2013 after a prolonged discussion, deliberations by the industry, chambers, or all the stakeholders, and after several recommendations by the Standing Committee, it went twice to the Standing Committee, and only in 2013, the Companies Act 2013 was replaced by the 1956 Act was replaced by 2013 Companies Act. Now within the Act was introduced, notified only partially in 2013, and from 1st April 2014, the Act was implemented. Within a period of 6 months, the government has come out with several amendments to the Act, and there are nearly 14 sections have been amended. I don't see any reason for the amendment of some of the provisions, like the removing this threshold limit for the minimum capital requirement for private companies and public companies. The Act of 2013 says that a private company should have a minimum capital of 1 lakh and the public company should have a minimum capital of 5 lakhs. This was a provision introduced to curb the shell companies and to put restrictions and to see while incorporating the companies. This has been removed, and then there is no capital requirement is envisaged in the present amendment for incorporating a company. Then the next amendment is not making the common seal mandatory. The common seal is a seal which authenticates all documents of a company, and that is the seal which is required to be authenticated, and now that has become made an optional. I don't see any reason for this change. Then I welcome that Section 76A has been added to protect the depositors and to make the offence cognizable offence under Section 447. Because we have to protect the depositors. Of course, the original Section 76 has the provision to protect, but more transparency has brought in. That is a welcome, I welcome it. Regarding Section 176, where a resolution or agreement to be filed, the special resolution was necessary in certain cases, which is very important, and that has been removed, and now certain resolution can only by ordinary resolutions, some of the provisions can be passed. Here also I feel this amendment was not necessary because it will, the earlier provision of the Act would have given more transparency and the shareholders would have the opportunity to debate through a special resolution. Sir, the important amendment has been brought into section 143 of the Companies Act. The earlier act, the present act before amendment made it mandatory for the auditors to report all frauds to the central government. Now, through this amendment, a threshold limit has been laid that only fraud up to a certain threshold will be informed by the auditors to the central government, and other frauds below that threshold limit will be reported to the company by the auditors and to the audit committee. Sir, this proposed amendment I welcome with a rider that the fraud, the proposed amendment is irrespective of the amount involved to the central government would not have served any meaningful purpose. However, the following aspect needed to be looked into. Number one, the reporting of frauds where the key management personnel are involved are very serious one. Therefore, that should be reported to central government irrespective of the amount involved. The object behind the provision would not be achieved unless an effective mechanism is evolved at the central government level to deal with the information on fraud received from the auditors and the companies. Sir, what is happening is the central government has imposed in even earlier also, as far as the audit reports are concerned, the CAG comments on the company's audit reports are concerned, it has the central government or the concerned ministry are to go through and file their comments before the house, both the house before, when they lay the papers before the house. But I can say with my experience that all the comments, the central governments are not looking into the various comments of the CAG and the auditors, at least now reporters hitherto. So, by bringing this reporting provision, you should strengthen the provision, the mechanism to go through this fraud and take action within the ministry, central government. The proposed amendment should also require to disclose details of fraud reported to the government which are more serious in the board report, so that the board report should also contain whatever the auditors report, it should also contain in the board report. Sir, the entire responsibility of detecting the fraud has been entrusted, has been given to the auditors. Sir, auditor is not a fraud detecting job. Auditing of a company is not a fraud detecting job. Now, in this bill, the entire responsibility of detecting fraud, or the major responsibility of detecting fraud, has been put on the auditors. With the result, the company management should also have responsibility and they improve their internal control system. And the Institute of Chartered Accountant has already issued auditing standards, and that auditing standards has also incorporated the fraud reporting methodology also. And the fraud reporting methodology of the standard set by the institute and the auditing standard should be same as the standard set by the central government for reporting the fraud. Because the statutory auditors are only They are auditing the accounts to give a true and fair view of the accounts to the shareholders. So in the course of their reporting that true and fair of the accounts, they have to go through all the accounts, and they will come across the fraud, they will have to report. But here it looks that the entire responsibility of detecting the fraud has left to the auditors, which has the management also should be, or the various officers entrusted like the managing director, the chief financial advisors, all should also be entrusted with the responsibility. Sir, the next amendment which is important is diluting the loans to the directors. That is wholly owned subsidiaries and the directors, inter-directors have been exempted. And that, I don't know why that has to be done. The wholly owned subsidiary loans to the directors, that is an amendment to section 185. The proposed amendment to section 188 for provision for special resolution in section 125 should also be seen in similar context. Sir, the SEBI continues to provide for the requirement of special resolution for material related party transaction. The requirement special resolution in the situation envisaged under section 188 would have been made the companies more transparent and encourage shareholders in democracy in the governance of the corporate. It may still be appropriate to modify the clause to require the special resolution in case of where related party transaction involved amount above a certain threshold limit. In order to encourage transparency, explanatory statement as required to be given under rules to the shareholders should also state the criteria or basis for the management for considering the particular related party transaction in the ordinary course of business with the arm's length. The SEBI requirement and provision under Companies Act also differs on the definition of related party transaction. While SEBI has aligned recently the criteria for material for related party transaction, there are a number of differences on the corporate governance required as well as. The government should evolve a mechanism so that the SEBI and the companies law requirement in regard to the listed companies and the companies with significant public interest coverage. This should greatly help in easing the business in India as well. Sir, the other amendments are not is consequential. I welcome some of the amendments, and I request the government to look into the provisions of section 143 and the special resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, well, honourable members, I have a real problem. We have decided yesterday that we will pass this bill before 12. Now, I have nearly 12 names. Every member is requested to confine to 2 minutes or maximum 3 minutes. You wanted the bill to be passed before 12 and no, he took only 10 minutes. Now, Congress के लिए 34 है, 10 मिनट लिया. ठीक है.
Then what is the necessity? No. Better pass it like that.
What is the solution now?
का प्रस्ताव लिया अरुण जी ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा.
Okay. All right. Okay. 2 to 3 minutes. Not more than 3. VP Singh, are you speaking? 3 minutes is applicable to you.
Sir, whenever I have to get up and speak, you always put
No,
guillotine
because
on me.
I want you to be more here than there. That is. That is why.
I'll take 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
3 minutes.
10 minutes.
No,
10
3
minutes. 10 minutes. 10.
No, 3
Sir,
minutes. 3 minutes applicable to everybody.
Sir, no, not to the main speaker here from the party.
This bill has to be passed before 12.
No, no, no. So it can't be done.
Please.
If you have given them 12 minutes, then you have to give me 10 minutes. Sir, I stand to support the Company Amendment Bill 2015. And before I go to the nitty-gritties, let me go to the history of the Companies Act. And it was only in 1913 in the British Raj that the first Company Act. आ जाऊंगा यार, तुम तो चुप रहो यार, please. It was an independent India that in 1956 we came out with the Company Act, and that was prevalent for very many years, for nearly 60 years. And I do commend Mr. Sachin Pilot, who took the initiative, and I remember he went to the LOP and said that, sir, if there is anything that you want to make a change, do it, but must get this through. And there were recommendations from the standing committee, because it had visited the standing committee also. There were 193 recommendations, and out of those, most of them were accepted. Let me come to the points that have been raised by Ramanji. He is not in agreement with most of the amendments, and I know this bill had a checkered history. 2008, it came to this house and the other house, and it took 5 years from 2018 to 2013. Sir, I must say that things have changed from 1956. We are in a different age. In 60 years, the companies today, I remember, because people were telling me, and you are an CA, sir, you know, that to form a company in those days used to take 1 year. Not less than at least 8-9 months. Today, if your documents are correct and you want to put it across, in 2 days you can make a company. And this is what, आप बोलोगे तो फिर तो comment करोगे तो ऐसा नहीं चलेगा, प्रेम जी, please. नहीं, this is not done. Sir, नहीं पर आप मत बोलो तो अच्छा रहेगा. Sir, I don't want them to agree also. Sir, our Honorable Prime Minister has come out with the concept that we must make in India. And if we want to do make in India, we want new companies to come in. We want new companies in 2 days to be formation. And this formation has to be done. Everything is digital today. We are in the world of digital, we are in the world of MNCs, we are in the world of mergers, multifarious activities that go on. The company, when a company comes into formation, it is not just manufacturing, it can be of so many kinds. Even the service industry is also taken into, it has to be a company, and then only service activities can go on. Sir, let me get to say that there were 470 clauses in the 2013 Act and 300 pages, but the subordination took 1 year, and it complicated matters. And the subordination and the rules and regulations, it should not have taken that long. There are 1,000 pages in it. And that's why I was requesting, because Mr. Rahman is a chartered accountant, he knows that there are so many things that come into, and there are problems that come in. Sir, I will go to the nitty-gritties.
No, please.
Sir, चार point तो
No.
बोलने, I have to counter what he said.
No, you need not counter, minister will counter. No,
Sir,
Minister
Mr. Rahman,
VP Singh,
Mr.
honorable
Sir, I
minister will counter.
Sir, ek minute. Mr. No, but Mr.
We
Rahman.
have to pass the bill.
Okay then, Mr. Rahman.
It is your responsibility
this is
also.
Not, this is not done. Sir. I also sit there and I don't do this. Sir.
Do come here and sit and manage it. I don't know. I will put
Sir.
him in the chair.
Sir, what he mentioned is about the fraud. Now, regarding the
Accepted in
fraud, do you know what happened in Satyam?
It should be
They were
before
chartered
also.
accountants. They did not report it. And that's why the Satyam happened. So it is, the big scams have to be, somebody has to be punished for it. Why didn't the auditors do it? If it is petty fraud, then don't report it. So this is what this bill is really wanting. What is called the minimus. Sir, let me also talk about what he talked about is common seal. Why have a common seal? Sir, the common seal, suppose you are doing business in Calcutta, Bombay and Delhi at the
Naresh
same
ji.
time. You can't have the same
VP
common
Singh ji.
seal traveling all the way to Delhi and Calcutta and
VP
Bombay.
Singh ji.
Not one seal. So, you know, that is also nowhere else in the world you have a
VP
common
Singh
seal.
ji.
So
You are
that's
from
why
Treasury
you
Bench.
have to
The bill has
get
to be
rid of
passed
this.
today
Sir,
before 12.
requirement of the paid up capital of 1 lakh rupees. Now, when we start a company, it should not start with 1 lakh. It can start with 25,000 rupees, a startup company. So, and then you get the money and then you go up. Why have a minimum threshold of 1 lakh rupees? So, I never disturbed you when you were talking.
VP Singh ji, please,
Sir,
please
let me,
conclude.
last
Please
point,
take your seat.
last point, sir. last
If everybody talks like this, the bill cannot be passed today. That's what I'm
talking
saying.
about the declaring dividends. Now, if it is declaring dividends,
Eh? I will bring him to chair.
ऐसे करते हैं.
I will ask him to come to chair.
So, last point, declaring dividend. Now, if a company has had a failure and it's been in losses for 5 years, and the 6th year it makes profit, you can't say you give dividend. What about the losses of the for 5 years? So what happens about that?
Your minister will take care of all that. Don't worry.
I know.
Now you sit down.
Then why have all of us to speak?
If he sits down now, his party will give him dividend.
Eh?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Now, Sri Vivek Gupta. I will call you after that. Vivek Gupta. You have only 2 minutes. You know that.
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak on this bill. Sir, our Chief Minister, Honorable Shri Mamta Bandyopadhyay, who is a champion of MSME industry, she has inspired me to stand here and speak on this amendments bill, which appears to be technical in nature, but sir, in fact, it is half-hearted. Sir, I have a few suggestions to make. These amendments will go, are maybe good, will go and must have been debated. Sir, some practical points I want to raise to Honorable Finance Minister, who he can consider, because I feel a second amendment will be necessary and he'll be very shortly bringing in one. Sir, number of partners per audit that is allowed. So simple mathematical calculations on the number of companies that are there in India and the number of auditors that are available to audit them, the figure does not come down to 20 that is prescribed in this bill. Sir, on the one hand, we talk about promoting entrepreneurship, but on the other hand, we weaken all avenues for an entrepreneur to raise funds from friends and families or related parties under Section 185. Sir, filing has been increased tremendously, and filing fees for every small document, 500 rupees filing fees has been increased. So this will affect the common man, the poor entrepreneurs who want to start their businesses. Sir, another anomaly that this amendment fails to address is the difference of depreciation that is being computed under Income Tax Act and Companies Act. Sir, 40% of the act is yet to be enforced. We don't know what is the fate of that 40% of the act. The most frequent word used throughout the act is as may be prescribed, throwing open it to wide interpretation and litigation. Sir, entrepreneurs and business come together to do business by floating companies because one of two, they're all threatened with imprisonment. Again, this is also not being addressed properly. Major deterrent should be addressed only in most serious cases, that too when it is proven beyond reasonable doubt. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for keeping up the time. In fact, very excellent. You took only 1 minute. Now, Naresh Agarwal. नरेश जी आपका टाइम इस 4 मिनट पार्टी का, 3 मिनट 4 मिनट, ज्यादा नहीं.
अब आप कहते हैं हम तो बस बताइए हाँ कह के बंद कर दें. माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी, मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ आप इतनी हड़बड़ी में क्यों हैं. 5 साल के लिए आपकी सरकार आई, कांग्रेस ने जो गलतियां की थी आप उन गलतियों को क्यों इतनी जल्दी स्वीकार कर रहे हैं. मुझे याद है 2013 में जब सचिन पायलट जी मंत्री थे, इस बिल को लाए थे, हम सबने इसका बड़ा अपोज किया था और मेरा मानना था कि इस तरीके के कंपनी बिल में अगर आप प्रोविजन कर देंगे तो देश से लोग व्यापार करना बंद कर देंगे. लेकिन उस समय कांग्रेस में एक फैशन चला था कि कैसे सरकार वापस आए. तमाम बिल ले आए थे, लैंड एक्विजिशन भी लाए बिल, लोकपाल का लाए, कंपनी ला अमेंडमेंट लाए, विसिल ब्लोअर एक बिल लाने की बात थी, लेकिन जनता ने नहीं इनको माफ किया. आप अमेंडमेंट लाए हैं, अमेंडमेंट पे हम सहमत हैं, उसको हम स्वीकार करते हैं, लेकिन क्या खाली इतने अमेंडमेंट से कंपनी बिल ठीक हो जाएगा? मैं पहले जानना चाहता हूं इसको अमेंड क्यों किया गया. जब कंपनी लॉ के पास, कंपनी मिनिस्ट्री के पास उनकी विजिलेंस है, उनके पास पूरा सेटअप है, वो कंपनी देख सकते हैं कौन फ्रॉड कर रही कौन नहीं कर रही, तो इतने प्रोविजन लाने की जरूरत क्या थी. अब अगर हम प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी को पब्लिक कंपनी में ट्रांसफर करना चाहें, ये आपके 14B में है, तो हमको किसी की इजाजत नहीं लेनी पड़ेगी. लेकिन अगर हम पब्लिक कंपनी को प्राइवेट कंपनी में कन्वर्ट करना चाहें तो 14B का आपका प्रोविजन है, तो ट्रिब्यूनल या बोर्ड से हमको उस परमिशन लेनी पड़ेगी. ये क्यों, आखिर दूसरे पे क्यों कर दिया गया बाइंडिंग? आपको करना था तो एक ही पे बाइंडिंग नहीं हो जाए, हम चाहे प्राइवेट को पब्लिक में करें, चाहे पब्लिक को प्राइवेट में करें. सेक्शन 42(2) पहले इसमें प्रावधान था कि प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट के आधार पर 50 सदस्यों को हम सिक्योर्ड डिवेंचर, कन्वर्टल डिवेंचर या अन्य सिक्योरिटी दे सकते हैं. आप इसको 200 कर रहे हैं, क्यों एक सीमा कर रहे हैं? आप सीमा हटा दीजिए, चाहे जितनों को हम दें, इसमें क्या अंतर पड़ रहा है? मैं तो कह रहा हूं कि इस तरीके के जो किए गए हैं, प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी अपने डायरेक्टर, मेंबर ऑफ डायरेक्टर से तो धनराशि स्वीकार कर सकती है, लेकिन सिर्फ डायरेक्टर को लोन दे सकती है और नहीं दे सकती. क्यों नहीं दे सकती? मेंबर को. श्रीमान, बड़ी छोटी छोटी कंपनियां हैं जो बहुत छोटा रोजगार करती हैं, वो अपने मेंबर्स को दे दें अगर पैसा, तो उन्हें तो ब्याज मिलेगा, मेंबर्स रहेगा, कंपनी काम करेगी. और मैं कह सकता हूं जब से बिल आया है तब से हजारों कंपनी बंद हो गई, बहुत बड़ा आपका बिजनेस अफेक्टेड हुआ है. खाली 17 से, मैं तो कहता हूं इसको सेलेक्ट कमेटी में दीजिए. आपने सजा का प्रावधान इतना करा है, 134(8) में देख लीजिए आप. आपने सजा का प्रावधान 3 साल किया, क्या जरूरत थी सजा के लिए? तो आपने इतने एक्ट बना रखे हैं. आपने बनाया ईडी, फेमा, इनकम टैक्स, सेबी, कस्टम, एक्साइज, अब कंपनी लॉ. ऐसा लग रहा है इस देश में हर चीज का निदान जो है वो जेल भेजना ही है और कोई निदान नहीं. क्यों सबको बेईमान समझ लिया गया? मैं कहता हूं 134(8) में भी जैसा धारा 128 और 129 में प्रोविजन है, उस प्रोविजन को क्यों नहीं आप कर देते? क्या दिक्कत है? सेक्शन 185 आप देख लें, इस धारा में प्रावधान है कि कोई भी अपने कंपनी निदेशक, डायरेक्टर्स को ऋण नहीं दे सकती, जबकि पहले में था कि निर्देशक को ऋण दे सकती है, अपने मेंबर को भी ऋण दे सकती है. अब आपने रोक दिया. एक नया प्रावधान आपने डाल दिया, अगर 2 कंपनी हैं और दोनों कंपनी के हम डायरेक्टर हैं तो हम एक दूसरे को लोन नहीं दे सकते, या एक कंपनी में हम डायरेक्टर हैं, एक में हमारी पत्नी डायरेक्टर है, तो हम सीधे एक कंपनी से उस दूसरी कंपनी को न लोन दे सकते न ले सकते. अगर हमें देना है लेना तो तीसरी कंपनी को हम दें और फिर उससे लौट के हमारे पास आए. फिर इसकी क्या जरूरत है? आपने तमाम ऐसे सेक्शन कर दिए जो अब कंपनी जो थी सिक्योरिटी देती थी, आपने सिक्योरिटी देने के लिए कंपनी में बैन कर दिया. तमाम सेक्शन में आपने सजा का प्रावधान कर दिया. तो मेरा वित्त मंत्री जी से ये कहना है कि माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी, आप 6 महीने के लिए कोई कमेटी बनाइए, इससे ज्यादा ना बनाइए. वो कमेटी सब लोगों से राय ले ले, लोग अपने सजेशन दे दें और उस सजेशन को 6 महीने के अंदर आपको रिपोर्ट दे दे. और उस रिपोर्ट के बाद अगर आप पूर्ण रूप से कंपनी लॉ में अमेंडमेंट करके लाएं तो शायद सफलता भी मिलेगी और लोग इसको स्वीकार करेंगे। अन्यथा संख्या के बल पे अगर आप इसे कराना चाहें तो अलग बात है। मेरा ये सुझाव है और मैं चाहूंगा कि जब जवाब दें तो वित्त मंत्री जी
Okay.
इस पर जरूर जवाब दें।
Thank you very much. Now, Sri Paul Manoj Pandian, your time is only 3 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
3 minutes, confirming 3 minutes.
Opportunity to speak on the amendments to the company's bill, sir. Sir, with regard to the first amendment to remove the minimum shared-up capital, sir, for the requirement for a private company and public company, sir, I only wish to draw the attention of the Honorable Minister. Sir, when the Companies Act 2000 was passed and thereafter also, several companies thought it fit not to remove the threshold limit of the minimum shared-up capital, sir. So the very object of bringing up the minimum shared-up capital was to weed out the shell companies, sir. Therefore, sir, I request from the Honorable Minister to state the reasons why the shared-up capital limit has to be, why the threshold limit has to be lifted, sir. That's my first view, sir, on the amendment. Sir, with regard to the common seal, sir, the Section 9 of the Act is inherited from the British law in 1948, and the common seal is, it signifies the signature of the company also. And no reasons have been stated as to why this amendment has been brought, sir, to do away with the common seal of the company. Sir, as regards the frauds with regard to the deposits that are received from the public, sir, with regard to Section 73 and 76, the punishments have been suggested in the bill, sir. I only wish to draw the attention of the Minister, and I wish to suggest that the, since this relates to acceptance of deposits, the Serious Fraud Investigation Office may be empowered to attach all the assets, and suitable mechanism has to be involved in this regard, sir. And with regard to the, it's a settled law, sir, that the decisions taken by the board assumes criticality, and that is confidential in nature, sir. Therefore, sir, the Honorable Minister may give a serious thought to remove the requirement of filing board resolution itself. That is, clause 117 may be omitted. And there are several issues which may require privacy for the companies, sir. Then, sir, with regard to the liability of the auditor, sir, it is an important issue. Sir, the bill suggests, sir, that the auditors have to report, and they are also liable. Sir, I only wish to state that the auditors, sir, are called the watchdog of the company and not a bloodhound, sir. Sir, in this regard, I would only state that sufficient safeguards have to be given to the auditors to see that they are not in any manner hauled up for any fault of the financial affairs of the company, sir. The financial affairs of the company are always under the control of the Chief Financial Officer, and therefore, sir, the auditors must not be held liable. Sir, I also wish to draw the attention of the Honorable Minister with regard to one serious issue. The removal of difficulties clause, sir, which is the last clause of the Companies Act, has been frequently taken, sir, and several notifications have been issued, sir, on the basis of the removal of difficulties clause. Sir, many clarifications have been issued, and they are beyond the scope of the very section itself, sir. Therefore, a complete re-examination has to be made regarding the power and the scope to issue such clarifications, and also examine whether removal of difficulties provision is the right provision for issuing clarifications, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Made good points. Sri Narendra Kumar Kashyap, your time is, party time is only 2 minutes. Yeah.
सर, कंपनी बिल चूंकि बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण विधेयक है और मैं इसके समर्थन में कुछ बातें जरूर कहना चाहता हूं। कल जब नेता सदन इस बिल पर अपनी प्रस्तावना रख रहे थे, आपने एक बिंदु सदन के सामने रखा था कि कंपनी विधेयक में जमानत की प्रक्रिया बहुत सख्त है। जब कोई कंपनी ओनर या कोई डायरेक्टर उसमें फंसता है तो उसकी जमानत कराने में बहुत मुश्किलें आती हैं।
जमानत नहीं होती है,
जमानत नहीं होती,
कोटा कानून है।
मैं ये जानना चाहता हूं कि पिछले 6 सालों में, 1 साल आपकी सरकार है, 5 साल पहले तक का मैं जानना चाहता हूं कि 6 वर्षों में इस कानून के तहत कितने लोग जेल में गए हैं और कितने लोगों की जमानतें नहीं हुई हैं मेरा यह मानना है महोदय कि देश के अंदर सैकड़ों ऐसी कंपनियां सुबह आती हैं, ऑफिस खोलती हैं, पूरे शहर प्रदेश दुनिया में ढंढोरा पीटती हैं, एक के दो करने के नाम पर, आधे दामों में कुछ चीजें देने के नाम पर। और जब उनका कारोबार व्यापार इतना बढ़ जाता है कि उनके पास अरबों रुपए की वैल्यू हो जाती है, रातों रात वो भाग जाते हैं। मेरा सुझाव है कि ऐसे फ्रॉड, चिट फंड जैसी कंपनियों को रोकने के लिए क्या इस विधेयक में कोई माननीय मंत्री जी कोई ऐसा कानून ला रहे हैं जिससे पूरे देश में जो ये फोर्जरी हो रही है कंपनी के नाम पर, इसको बंद किया जा सके। और दूसरा मेरा सुझाव, दूसरा मेरी आशंका महोदय, बिजनेस के एतबार से हमारे देश का दुनिया में 124वां स्थान है, यानी हम बहुत पीछे हैं। और सुविधाओं के हिसाब से अगर मैं कहूं तो दुनिया में हमारा 189वां स्थान है। पिछले एक वर्ष में देश का कारोबार, देश का व्यापार बहुत डाउन गया है, लोग मुश्किल में हैं। मैं ये दूसरा सवाल ये करना चाहता हूं कि क्या माननीय मंत्री जी बताने की कृपा करेंगे कि हमारे देश का कारोबार जो आज मंदी के दौर से या और तमाम मामलात के हिसाब से आज डाउन जा रहा है, ये कारोबार कैसे बढ़े ताकि हमारा देश आर्थिक रूप से संपन्न हो सके। केवल दो सवाल जिसमें मैं उत्तर चाहूंगा, आपने समय दे दिया और 2 मिनट से पहले घंटी बजाई। आपका धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। श्री भूपेंद्र सिंह, योर पार्टी टाइम इज ऑल्सो 2 minutes.
Sir, Deputy Chairman, sir, I stand here in my party to support this Companies Amendment Bill 2014. Sir, I will just go through 2, 3, 4 points. Please don't
Within 2 minutes.
Don't press the bell, sir. Your bell
At 2 minutes I will bring.
Will create an earthquake like, sir, inside. So your bell, you just say please. Sir, I have 2, 3 points, sir. When the argument was made by the former minister during UPA government that it was a bill that after 57 years, they had brought an amendment on the Companies Act. And saying that when 56, there were hardly few hundreds and less than thousands companies there registered. And now that after 56 years, the bill has been brought because more than 1 million companies has been registered. As told by my previous speaker, sir, there are many companies, even there are corporates, they are now, nowadays the real estate and builders, they have become, and the cheat fund companies, they make frauds here and there. Those points has to be taken care of. Sir, now the point is, I would like to suggest that the bill has said that 1 women member will be there as a director. I would like to suggest, Honorable Finance Minister, that at least the stakeholder should be those who have presently, when the new companies will be registered, some provisions should be there that those land whose land will be adjusted, the company where the landowners should also be a stakeholder there, and the laborers, those who are working there in that, they must have some say, some provisions should be there in that. And sir, corporate social responsibilities, yes sir, you have made 2% in the original bill. I suggest that it should be at least 5% in that area, and it should be on the website that what the corporate social responsibility they have taken care of. It has never been known to any member of parliament or any legislature in the state where the corporate house they make their industries. So all these points, sir, has to be taken into consideration. And sir, last one, sir. We are in a largest democracy of the world. We claim that a welfare state is always there as a transparency. Transparency means, what is that transparency, sir? If we will not give scope to the laborers there. Sir, finally, let it not be a feeling that less than 1 year we are making another amendment. Half of the April 1st, 2014, half of this act has not been also in force. And we are going to make some amendment. And I am happy that Minister has committed. Sir, one last. committed that he will make some more amendments and make it sure that the participation and will be there by the laborers also. Finally, sir, I would like to say, let there be not a feeling outside that the perception is there, public perception. We are more for corporates than for farmers, than for labor class, than
Naresh
for the
Gujral.
poor class. That should be taken note
Okay,
of that.
that's
Thank
all.
you, sir.
Only 2 minutes, sir.
Sir, the objective of any Companies Act is that there should be good corporate governance and that the interest of all stakeholders should be protected. Now, keeping that in view, we have made this Companies Act and some amendments are being brought forward, but I think the existing act is extremely cumbersome and it needs huge amendments which, as Mr. Agarwal had pointed out, needs a committee which could look into it for 6 months so that properly every single minute detail is gone into. Sir, the New Economist says that as far as ease of doing business is concerned, Pakistan ranks higher than India. And we had said that we will make, this was one of the objectives of the government, that ease of doing business would be brought in. So, sir, I have one suggestion, that kindly look at all companies, put them in 3 silos. Those in which public are substantially interested, those and which take public deposits, then private limited companies which take deposits from the public, and third, small companies which neither take deposits from the public nor are taking big loans from the banks. These companies should not have to contend with all the tedious laws that have now been brought into the Companies Act. Sir, these small companies can't afford company secretaries and expensive chartered accountants. So I feel there is a need to relook at the Act. These amendments can go through, because if these amendments were to be kept, we would have to build Tihar jails all over the country, because I think most of the directors would be in jails. So I would again recommend that a committee be set up, whether it's a joint committee of the Parliament or a committee set up by the Finance Minister, but we must relook at this Act. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, before the question hour starts, I want to inform the House that in the morning meeting of the leaders, it has been decided to do away with the lunch break. But however, it is suggested that doing away with the entire lunch break will be a problem for the staff also. Therefore, I think we will sit from 1 to 1:30 and dispose of this bill, and half an hour. Now that
पूरे
I
सदन से
cannot.
बोल लीजिए बिल पास हो जाए,
No.
2 बजे वंदे
No,
मातरम
no,
करा दीजिए,
that
खत्म हो।
I cannot decide on that.
नहीं, ये वही तय हुआ
Chairman,
था
Honorable
कि
Chairman is coming.
अगर सदन की राय होगी
No, that
तो
is-
क्वेश्चन आवर खत्म कर ले।
If you want, you can raise it. If you want, you can raise it when the question hour starts. Chairman will decide on that. Honorable Chairman will come here. He will take a decision on that. No, that's not for me. But however, I would like to say that between 1 to 1:30, if necessary, we will sit and dispose of this bill, and if it is disposed of, we will take up the other bill also. That is all.
Vande
Now,
Mataram
Sri Jain, Mr. Ishwarlal Jain, you have 1 minute, and your party time is 1 minute.
2 minutes.
But anyhow, start. Your party time is 1 minute, and you have 1 minute.
उपसभापति महोदय, मैं कंपनीज बिल के ऊपर अपने विचार रखने के लिए खड़ा हूँ। सबसे पहले तो मैं वित्त मंत्री जी को धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ कि अमेंडमेंट्स के साथ में वो आए, परंतु हाफ हार्टेड हुआ है। ये अमेंडमेंट, इसके अंदर काफ़ी अमेंडमेंट लाने की ज़रूरत है, क्योंकि जब कंपनीज
Okay, time over. Now it is time for question hour.
सर मेरे को बाद में मिलने का।
You can continue.
आई कंटिन्यू।
You will continue.